What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We had a little pre-stream catastrophe. Spilled my wonderful energy drink all over my keyboard. Let's see how that goes. Weirdly, we've lost 30 viewers since it started. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe they're coming back now. Is what it is. So what's up, dudes and dudettes? Here we are. Bitcoin looking a little shaky. Today's candle building a little bit of confidence. But we're down near levels we didn't really want to see. So let's take a look at this chart. We'll take a look at your favorite alts. Probably take a peek at the S&P 500s. A few things, see what else is going on here. But it's great to have everybody back. Because we are live. 76 watching. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Don't forget to smash the like button for the new stream. Helps YouTube recommend the stream to new eyes. It's really been working well. By the way, guys, thank you so much. Everyone who's been watching the little publishes I've been doing, watching them all the way through has been leading to record views on those. It makes a huge difference when a significant amount of people are watching the whole video instead of turning it off in the beginning. Anyway, enough of the intro shilling. All right. Yeah, everything's going wrong today. That's all right. Don't forget to join the Discord. Patreon links top of the chat. Also, many links below in the video description. Check those out. All of them helpful to us. So, let's peek at the daily here. Something interesting that actually Saf, one of our patrons, pointed out that I think is a good point here is this daily volume. Not really that big. We see volume trending up a little bit since price has fallen, but really our apex back here on the 19th of May, you can see that this volume candle is unmatched. In comparison, we've seen very little volume throughout here, and we've seen very little volume throughout here. So what does that give us on a bigger picture? Well, it gives us falling price with falling volume. That's not a bad setup, doesn't guarantee anything, but I think textbook TA would say that that is typically bullish. What we wouldn't really like to see is increasing volume while price is falling. We'll see. I think it was worth pointing out. I'm keeping an eye either way on this volume and specifically zoomed in here. The 1 day is a little confusing, but when we take it out to the 2, I think it becomes a lot more exaggerated. So what struck me when he pointed this out here, and I pointed this out to him as well, is this candle right here on September 6th, 7th, and then here again on the 20th. The 20th volume much larger, despite not really being a candle that moved much farther down. I take this as it's taking more selling pressure to push price lower, and that should create some kind of divergence for us. Now, I have not checked, but why not? Let's take a peek at our indicators. They might be agreeing. They are not. We don't see a divergence on the 2 day. We have falling RSI and falling price, not the best. We have a lower low on RSI. I don't love the way this looks. I'm not in love with it. Money flow, not looking super great here either. We're going to need to see some kind of upside action to save us from rolling over again on the 2 day. And we just finally, this is what's interesting, we just finally in early September entered positive money flow in the 2 day. Right here, September 2nd. Happens to be right at the top of this price movement, so that's not ideal either. Things are not looking superb. Not looking superb. But something that might be of interest is, well, one, our measured move from yesterday's video, boom. We've hit the 1618 at about 40K, and below that we have our 38-ish, 37-ish area at our measured move at the 2. That would be the next downside target, I would say, especially if we get a close right here today. I'm not loving where price is. We're at 43.4, actually higher than I thought. But what I don't dig about it, let's get rid of that, is that we're right at the bottom, right at our trend line. That's not ideal. We followed this pattern to glory. We had our broadening wedge. We had our back test. And then we didn't hold it. not great. We fell back below, and now pretty predictably we're back to that same trend line, back testing it. We're gonna want to see power into this close. We're gonna want to see a close above this trend line. We want to retake it. We really want to make this a brief trip. We don't want to see selling into the end of this day. We don't want to reject off the back of this trend line. That can really put a hole in our pattern. And if we look over here, we see we have a support from back here in June, and that's lining up with this descending trend. So this would be not ideal to see something like that. Though it will create a bigger picture of a falling wedge, and we would expect that to break to the upside. I don't like seeing weakness here. Not a fan of seeing weakness here. I know a lot of leveraged longs got liquidated recently. That's a positive. I'm sure actually lots of shorts are opening. We see that on funding. I can pull that up for you. Funding actually pretty beastly to the negative here. Seems that the market is shorting this bounce, but getting a little too eager with it. We can see BitMEX at 0.05, and this is negative funding. OKX at 0.01, Bybit 0.03. Really in the range of abnormal. We don't tend to see negative funding like this across the board. Usually we have something standing out that's still positive for arbitrage. We don't have that here. Virtually every exchange in negative funding, Binance being about neutral. Typically when we get this funding, we see moves to the upside. So that is a confidence builder. That's good to see here. The last thing in the world that we'd want to see is really high positive funding after this drop. So what this shows me is that the market's getting a little too excited on the short side here. I guess that does make sense. We did break our 42.2, so we are still in the danger zone. But to see funding so negative tells me that people are likely getting a little too excited about this. That does bode well for this close, I hope. Fingers crossed. Let's take a look at our daily moving averages. Let's check where we are. So we did see the 100 here acting as support. However, we have a problem. It is great to see it acting as support. We want to see that continue, move back up. However, our problem is now we're below the 200 and the 50. We're below our golden cross. This is not what we want to see. We want to spend as little time as possible down here. If price doesn't retake the 200 within a few days, let's say even a few weeks, what we'll have is a bearish kissing. We'll see that 50 moving average move back down, cross bearishly, and that's going to be a really, really bearish signal. So we're going to hope that does not happen. And what that is implying is, well, when you have the 200, the 50, and the 20 all in the same zone, we now have a pretty nasty block of resistance. So let's turn this red here, and to double down on that, we see that bearish engulfing weekly level that's at 46,000 is right in this block of resistance. That's not great. Let's zoom into the weekly here. There is some saving grace here on the weekly, as it has been pretty much our savior throughout all of this. But you can see that to eliminate this bearish engulfing, we're not just going to have to float up. We're going to have to push through all of those heavy hitting moving averages. It's certainly not impossible, but it is a task. It is a task that we had hoped not to really have to deal with. So our saving grace, though, again, on the weekly as it's been, is this. We see the 20 and 50 coming to cross bearishly. That's bad, Tom. However, price is on top of it, so this actually isn't as bad as it seems. The daily's not looking great, but this weekly can still be strong. We got the close we wanted last week when it came to our Ichimoku cloud. You can see it was there. We sold off, but it was there. This could imply that maybe we do see this as a wick. Maybe we do see buying into the end of this week, and I would like to see that close again above 46.9. That's going to keep us in the trend. There's plenty of time here with 4 days. To see this move up, even turn green, or fall down more is totally possible in 4 days. No questions asked. But the good part, I know, the silver lining, right here. This was a test, the first test of the 20 weekly after breaking it. This was going to happen no matter what. Not necessarily that we're going to move down to 40K, but we were going to back test the 20, whether it's today or, something weird happened and we back tested it up here. You can't escape them. Moving averages are always chasing price, and price seemingly is always chasing moving averages. So here is our thumbs up of the day. We hit the 20, and we found buyers. we want to hold that. This 20 and probably the 50 as it moves up are going to be where we're looking to stay bullish. That's really going to be it. Do not want to see any more trading below that 50 weekly. And if we do, that could be very ugly. So if we look at our retracement from our low, we might want to take it actually from June 21st. I think that fits this chart a little cleaner, but we don't have to. We can take it from here. We can see that this was basically a 0.5 retrace. And did we actually touch this weekly? We didn't actually touch the weekly support here. This was resistance at 39,000. We didn't quite make it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's showing us there's support here. That would be probably where we're looking. That's right at that 38-ish level for our 2 extension to the downside. Actually, maybe right at that 50 weekly. I really would prefer not to touch it. As long as we can remain above it, which we have so far, we can get a bullish kissing. That's what we want to see. It's going to be the opposite of what we were potentially looking at there on the daily. This would be great. See that 20 moving average begin to move up. And if we look back at price, that would make sense. Where's 20 weeks ago now? I know, so much time has passed. Right here. Dang, not quite out of trouble yet. So the 20 weekly moving average is looking back at the last 20 candles. That would be here from May 3rd until today. So what we can really infer here is trading sideways, what's going to happen is we're going to start losing these big candles in that calculation. Really, roughly around here is when we'll actually see that 20 start to respond. But we're good. That's a good thing. We want to get rid of these candles as they go down very low, and they're bringing that moving average down. But according to this weekly chart, it looks like that's going to take a few more weeks to see this curl back up, unless we saw some kind of extreme move to the upside. That would be something. I don't think all hope is lost yet on that. What I'm really watching here is, you guys know I have bullish expectations for this monthly close. Bullish expectations. What a funny thing to say. For this monthly close, I'm looking for higher, and this is what's going to be important to me. We don't have a lower low on the monthly. We have a higher high. So we're actually fitting that pattern that we saw in the last 2 months. Higher low, higher high. Same thing here, even though we have a red-bodied candle. I'm looking in the next 8 days for price to move up. And what I really don't want to see is price close below 41.5. We don't want a bearish engulfing monthly. That would be very ugly. And in fact, I'm not sure. Oh, well, actually, look at here. We were comparing this in the last stream, I believe, to September as a fake out. September, we did have a bearish engulfing monthly, and then we went ballistic. But before that, we really don't see many bearish engulfing monthlies at all. Actually, at all. Not even January 2018. Took till March. And then we didn't get another one until November 2019. Interesting. We do see a lot in the history of Bitcoin of these weird red candles after rallies, but they don't seem to slow down price. But what I think the important takeaway here is not bearish engulfing. We just see, like, for instance, right here, price had teased a bearish engulf, had traded below, and then settled up higher before the month ended. So that's really what we're hoping for here. Here's another example of that. This candle in March of 2017, very much bearish engulfed before closing higher. Didn't even close green, but you can see that did not stop the rally. So that's what we're hoping for here. It would be ideal to close a green. This is going to sound odd. The only thing I really don't want to see is I don't want to see this close as a green doji. I don't want to see this. If we're going to close red, I want to see a nice thick-bodied red candle, giggity. That's not bearish engulfed. I think that would be the best setup. But so far, the monthly is okay. There is plenty of time for this to be fixed. And of course, if we consult the clouds are saying, well, you're in decent shape. You're really, though, maybe this is our target, 45.3. We want to see this close above the Ichi TK line. So boom, let me put that out there. Maybe that's even a little higher. 46.3. Can we move to 46.3 in 8 days? I think that's totally possible. It's also implying if we don't, we do have support down here at 34.4. I don't want to see price trade to there. I don't think that is really what anyone, well, except for the bears, maybe want to see. I want to continue this path here. I still think we're testing that 58.8. It's looking less likely, and heck, I'm not always right. Maybe I'm wrong on this one. But I still have a feeling 58.8 is in this quarter. And again, as we said, if we don't get it in this quarter, as close as possible is going to be fine. And we're going to then still hope that Q4 has that power below it. None of my stuff's working. Oh, my keyboard. I spilled my energy drink, my Gamer Sups energy drink, all over my Ducky keyboard, and it's acting a little goofy, but we're going to do our best to keep going here. Please don't be broken. Where's this chat? Nothing's going my way right now. Here we are. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. We're just getting into the analysis now. We're not done. We've only looked at the macro. We're zooming in. We're about to look at the daily. We're about to be looking at the stuff that impacts you in the short term. So if you want to see that, keep smashing that like button. We have 250 watching. We can get to 420 likes. I believe in you. I believe in you. I do. You guys are the best out there. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Jump in the Discord to keep up with our daily streams, our trade alerts, our 24/7 live stream chart, chat, educational content. Oh yeah, and I keep forgetting to say, if you're in Discord, you will receive airdrops of random coins as I decide to airdrop them. We do them not quite every day, but maybe every other day. So free monies. It's not an investment. It's just free. No cost of entry. You just have to be in the Discord. All right, now I got the shills out of the way again. Let's look at this daily. Shout out to Mr. Ultra Chaos Steve 2, one of my by far proudest students of TA that I've ever had. Really impressing me here, showing me this. I didn't quite catch it, and maybe I'm even going to catch something he didn't see here, but we'll see. The daily cloud. This is dangerous territory. So the clouds here are acting as support. Price was above this green cloud. The colors don't matter as much, guys. It's just showing you change. So red isn't necessarily resistance. Green isn't necessarily support. It's where price is. So price has moved from above the cloud, now touching the bottom of the cloud in yesterday's candle, and we're seeing a bounce. So that is good. It is good that we found some support here. However, we have a danger. We have a danger and a caution still. We have our TK 44.2. We haven't traded back above that yet. This is going to act as resistance. You can see today's candle just reaching up, barely missing it. Wouldn't be surprising to see trading to that level today. The issue is what happens at that level. We don't know. We don't know. The daily cloud, this is catching my eye immediately. This daily cloud here with this sell-off threatening a twist. We do not want a twist, guys. Watch this daily Ichimoku cloud. I just have it on normal settings. There's nothing special about it. I took off the lagging line because I think it's too visually confusing. You can watch this at home. We don't want to see this twist. Period. That's not a good sign. We can see here that we got an early signal to the sell-off from Ichimoku when the cloud twisted. You get a little fake out. That happens. But now, as of, I don't know what, back in early July, we got our twist again, which said, hey, a trend is likely changing. We want to keep that going. So far, it is intact. It is not twisted. But you can see here, there's not a lot of room. Not a lot of room. What this might imply to me is that we can't move lower. If we, not that we can't, but that we can if we want to keep running up. We really don't want to see trading below 39.6. That is likely going to twist this cloud. So keep an eye on that. That is dangerous. There's a lot of kind of dangerous stuff going on. But you know what, guys? I'm going to share this with you. If you're new to crypto, get used to this. Get used to this. This, whatever this is going to happen every single time. Every single time you feel comfortable, we're going to get a move like this. Bitcoin does not allow free rides. Does not let people ride for free. Got to pay the toll. Before any large move, whether it's to the upside or the downside, virtually with 100% consistency, we see something like this. If we're going to move to the upside, we're going to get a freaky move to the downside. We were referring to this a month ago as a big spooky. On the 7th of September, we were said, hey, maybe that was the big spooky. We got this big awful candle. Price didn't really go anywhere. This is just a continuation of the big spooky. What is the big spooky? It can be anything. It can be in the form of anything. All it is something that breaks your confidence. Something that makes you question your trade. If you were long, maybe it's making you think you should be short. If you were short, A big spooky would be something that's going to make you think, maybe like back here, 42, make you think that your short's the wrong position. The big spookies are fundamental to Bitcoin. I'm not going to pretend I know why. I think it's honestly, Bitcoin doesn't like moving when there's people riding for free. It's got to flush out those weak hands. Has that done that? Let's look at our poll. 72% are saying healthy correction. 28% are saying bear market. That's probably about what I expected you guys to say. Only 220 votes. That's not quite a huge sample size. Make sure to throw in your opinion there. But as we were talking, like back in May, we were talking about dead cat bounces. And I said, man, we're not a dead cat bounce because, well, nobody believes it. Nobody believes we're going down. Like, no one believes we're going up yet. I said 48K, that's likely where people will start thinking we're going up. Now we went to 52, and now we're falling. So this is virtually the same thing in the opposite direction. We're looking for an alive cat dance. I don't know. We're looking for the opposite. We're looking for a move, the big spooky, as I call it. That's going to make people question, are we really going up? I'm not sure we've gone low enough. I'm not positive we've gone low enough to fully shake. However, viewership is down. Interest in crypto is down overall. And so there's less people to spook that can make that spookiness easier. That's right. It can be an easier spooky. All my buttons are broken. Lengthening cycle. What's up, 808 Hawk? How you doing, man? Lengthening cycle. That's an interesting question. I know Benjamin Cowen is huge on the lengthening cycles thing. So why don't we take a look at it? Thank you for throwing me some content. Actually, let's look at the daily quick, and then we'll go to the lengthening cycle. Same as on the 2-day as we saw. Lower lows on RSI. Actually, this is interesting here, is we're seeing some disagreement between our MACD and our RSI. So this is interesting. Doesn't necessarily give us a clear-cut trade or something to work with. Let's get rid of everything. Doesn't necessarily give us a clear-cut trade, but it's something to keep an eye on. So what we see on MACD and RSI are conflicting. We have, without a doubt, so this part's unquestionable, we have a lower low in price. So what would we look for? We would look for a higher low on our indicators to show us bullish divergence, right? RSI being a dick. Just straight up RSI dick. Lower low. It says no divergence. No divergence is not bearish nor bullish. People, if anyone ever tells you otherwise, they're just trying to kind of confirmation bias themselves. No divergence means nothing. I know, it'd be great if it didn't. However, so RSI not giving a signal. MACD potentially giving us that bullish divergence we're looking for. We can see on RSI, we don't have bearish divergence from our swing highs. We had a lower high in price and a lower high. If you even want to call this a high, it was barely a swing to positive momentum. But we don't have bearish divergence at all on our highs here. We have lower high, lower highs. MACD and RSI agree on that. But what they don't agree on is our lows right now. And this is what's interesting. So RSI, no bullish divergence, but no bearish divergence. MACD saying you might have it. We're missing one critical element here. That critical element is, well, we need to see this start waning. Because we can't just slap bullish divergence on here because, hey, for a second price is lower and MACD isn't. No, we're going to need to see some kind of reversal, some kind of selling momentum chilling. The first thing that kind of comes to me when I look at this is, even though we've dropped lower, MACD on the daily hasn't really dropped much lower. You can see the difference between these lows getting smaller. So what that implies is either we are going to look to start that reversal process. We'll probably see that on smaller time frames first, or selling ain't done, or selling ain't done. And this is just going to look to rip down lower. I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on that. What I like, though, is no bearish divergence. That's like the first time in forever that we don't have bearish divergence on highs. And there's actually one thing brought to you by Market Cypher that I think is important. You guys know I'm a little unorthodox in my market ciphering. I don't know if anyone uses this the same way I do, but that's true of, I don't know, most stuff. I don't know why people do there. I don't know what they do. I do things my own way because it works. Let's make these white. That didn't work. And I'm not going to make them white. Anyway, I'm going to remove everything from here so you can see this a little better. But MarketCypher is giving us something to hold on to. It's giving us something here that's saying, yeah, this is spooky, but maybe it's not quite time to freak out yet. So let's take these off and make this nice and simple for you. There we go. So just looking, and I'll even take off VWAP for now. We'll add it back on. Just looking at money flow, we see what we want to see. This is a good thing, at least for now. And again, I don't know if anyone uses it this way, but I've been using it this way successful for a long time. So when we're looking at money flow, what we're looking for is honestly what we'd like to see on the chart. So if we would like price to go up, what we're looking for is higher highs, higher lows. The minute that pattern breaks, then we look for that time frame to roll over. So I'll use actually the previous swing into negative momentum here as an example. We saw lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, and then as soon as, well, actually we can even call it from farther back, as soon right here as we broke that low, we were looking for this daily time frame to roll over, and it did. Of course, it had this little fake out, which made everyone very uncomfortable, but I don't even know what percent to call it. As soon as you see lower lows, and I'll flip this if that makes this easier to see. As soon as we saw this low broken, this time frame is looking to roll over. This hits with very strong accuracy, certainly not 100%, but enough for me to take it very seriously. So we saw that happen on our negative money flow, so money leaving the market. Now money is entering the market, and we're getting what we want. So this is really the most bullish of anything that we have. Despite going lower in price, money flow doesn't seem very impacted. Money is still entering the market, it's just entering slower. And what we have is a high with a low. And then we have a higher high with a higher low. And a higher high with a higher low. And then an even higher high. And what we don't have is a lower low yet. We haven't broken back here in September 10th's low. If and when that breaks, if it breaks, then we're going to look for the daily to roll over. We're going to look for that momentum to the upside to slow down. We're going to look for money to leave the market, but we don't have that yet. Despite this drop, we still don't have a lower low in money flow. So MarketCypher, by the way, link pinned to the top of the chat, MarketCypher if you're interested in it, is not telling us, at least on the daily time frame, in my opinion, is not telling us that things are bearish yet. We saw price drop, but money hasn't dropped. Money is continuing to enter. Someone is buying somewhere. This is going to be important. I almost expected to wake up and see this, and that would be bad. If we see that low broken, just as we saw it back here, we would expect for that money flow to start chilling, stop entering. Here's another example. Right here. It just hits with so much accuracy. Right here was the call to roll over. I'm sure price continued to move up. That was on December 11th, 2020. Price definitely kept going up. But as soon as our lows were broken, we saw this move to roll over. It rolled over completely May 12th, right when we sold off, and now we're on the way back up. This is decent. This is not confirmation bias. I follow this. You guys have seen me talk about it constantly. It's not something I use to confirm my own bias. It's simply just the way it is. The one thing here that is going to add for me, and again, money flow coming down, going to invalidate all this. And it has not turned back up yet. So we are technically on the path to testing that low still. The one thing that is kind of saving grace here is our VWAP. We see our VWAP is apexed. It has reached a depth right there, and now it's trending off with very high accuracy. When the VWAP changes directions, let's add all these 2, 3 with very high accuracy. The VWAP, when it does crest like this, it does look to roll over as well. So we're negative, and this is looking to roll over. Now we do have 2 examples right in front of us where that didn't happen. It crested and had a second peak. That does happen. But the majority of the time, and we're traders, we operate on probability. We don't operate on certainties. There's no such thing. Probability looks good. We want to see that continue. And hopefully if we zoom into lower time frames, we're going to see that in a closer look. So let me add everything back on here. Yeah. This is the most bullish thing I can find technical wise on the day. Potential MACD, bullish divergence, RSI isn't being helpful. And well, I guess we are looking to close a bullish engulf here, aren't we? Not really a huge feat after this brick of falling, but today 43,000 is going to land us a bullish engulfed candle. That's a good way to start a reversal. Again, doesn't guarantee it, but it's a good way to... You got to have it to start it. Well, you don't have to. It's a great way to start. We have a new daily support sitting here locally at 40,700. If we see trading below that tomorrow, likely going to be a bearish sign. Heck, I mean, even if we saw it today, I don't think that's likely, but certainly is possible. That'll be a bearish sign. We'll have broken that local support. What would be excellent to see today is, well, close up here. Tomorrow, a nice little sell-off candle back to that engulfing line at 43, and then a bounce. Where that bounce might go, well, let's look at this high trend we have, and maybe we can divine some of this, some of these numbers here for you. So let's just make a trend. Boop. Added. This is going to turn white because it's no longer describing divergence. So maybe we see something like this, back test, and then a move up to this high trend. Unfortunately, even in this scenario, we're still downtrending. So even if we move up to 46.7, we're still in this downtrend. We're still in this a descending high trend. So that wouldn't escape us. That wouldn't solve our problems, but it would be a start. Where would that be on our retracement? The 786. If that happens in 3 days, as this suggests, that would give us a deep retrace. That might be the start of breaking that trend, to be honest. Let's bring it back here for the total. Nothing. Golden pockets right up here at 47. We're at that consolidation range. Could be better. Could be better. All right, let's zoom in. Let's zoom into the 12 and take a peek at what we can find. Then we'll go like to the 4, maybe like to the 5, and then we're going to look at these lengthening cycles. I'm curious. I don't know. What do I think? Are the cycles lengthening? I don't know. I think that intrinsically Bitcoin will always be, at least until like 2,144. I think intrinsically it will be tied to a 4-year cycle. It doesn't mean that it has to look the same. It doesn't mean that it has to be like there's a high every 4 years and then there's a bear market. It could play out in many different ways. But I think it'll always be pegged somewhat to that 4-year, simply based on the halving. The same way, is Bitcoin pegged to the moon? Probably not. But we have our difficulty adjustment every 14 days. That's a moon cycle, so it seems like it is. Maybe that kind of similar. Maybe we'll see a similar dance there. 12-hour on market cipher looking terrible. Looking terrible. We do see the VWAP rolled over, so we're going to want to see some upside here, or else it's looking bad. We have a lower high overall. Right there. Didn't even come close. And then we had a swing to the negatives, to the negative money flow, and now we have a deeper swing. So you can even see it here on these momentum bands, which I don't really use that often, but you can see that's pretty clearly trending down. 12 hour is not looking very pretty on market cipher at the moment, but hopefully it will reveal divergence. RSI being as useless as it was on the daily. No divergence there. Woot. Great. Here we go. Here we go. So this is what we were looking for. On the daily, we said we could have bullish divergence on our low here, but we don't have any signs. We can't really name it that. It's like counting a candle before it closes. It's not going to get you anywhere. On the 12 hour, and this isn't closed, so we still can't even say this yet, but we might be able to in 3 hours. Maybe we have waning momentum on the 12. That's a good start to having waning momentum on the daily. And does this have bullish divergence is the question. No. That stinks. Very conflicting here between the day and the 12. We can see this is a lower swing low, so this doesn't have the same bullish divergence potential. And it even has bearish divergence on our highs, which we didn't have on the daily. Interesting to see these two time frames be so different. Usually they're not quite as conflicting. We have a higher swing high here with a lower high in price off that. off this little area right here, 48.7. So 12 hour looking more bearish than the daily. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Ooh. But we do have a rather weak cloud. We have a rather weak cloud right here on the 12. That's a spicy. Let's put it gray. Ooh. Calling for the same price point there at 44.3-ish as we were looking on the daily. The 12 hour, we have our TK and KJ sitting right there overlapping. And it's not ideal either. Yes, it's not bad, but it does put a lot of pressure on price right here. Unlike this weakness up here, this is more of a strength. This is going to be a harder resistance. What I don't like about this setup with these lines down here is what this implies to me is it's going to take a pretty weird move to get this back in bullish condition on the 12 hour. We're hoping that the daily doesn't twist. The 12 hour already twisted. But it's going to take some strange price action. So there's really only a few ways this could roll to be bullish, at least on the 12 hour Ichi. Would be to trade sideways, maybe slightly up for a long time. We're talking into October 15th-ish, I would say. We'd have to trade sideways a lot. Have these clouds come down. And then price leave the clouds over here by trading sideways. That's the only way we're going to really get a cross up here that we're going to want to see. If we get a cross up below these clouds, it's not going to be a very strong sign, and it's not going to be that significant. The other way this could work would be a really crazy move to the upside and then falling back down. Then we would see a twist up here, and then we would likely see a twist down here, and then we'd see another twist up above the cloud. That I think is less likely, though it is possible. The 12 hour, not in great condition. Not in great condition. Why did that box go away? We want that marked. Let's zoom it into the 4. 12. So basically recapping, daily not looking the best. Not a lot of great signs. MarketCypher saying, hey, you might have some hope here. I honestly would default to that money flow. Until that money flow sets a lower low, I think I'm still bullish on the daily. The 12 hour, though, looks like crap. Looks like crap. So now that we're into the 4, I don't even want to look at the 4. I hate the 4. How about we do the 5? No one ever looks at the 5 hour. There we go. The 5. 5 hour looking very different. So we do have momentum rolled over. Now we're in positive, buying momentum. I'm going to guess it's going to give us some kind of divergence here as well. Yes, it does. 5 hour confirming this bullish divergence. That's spicy. Did not have this on any other time frame. So we have a low and we have a lower low, but we have a higher low on our MACD, and RSI just being a dick again. RSI, you're not helpful right now. You just keep telling us no divergence. I could do that without your help. 5 hours still sketchy. Money flow does look to be rolling over. That VWAP staying strong. We've seen at least 1-2 fake outs here where it looked to roll to the negative but did not. I like that momentum is moving here. That's not bad. 5 hours looking okay. Everything points to the same area in the 44.3s. What I do like is we see a lot of weakness in the clouds, either directly above us or coming up into the end of the month here. We're seeing this on a lot of time frames where the clouds become very thin out here in the September-ish area. Man, this is going to be a battle. This is going to be a battle. Where are our averages? Let's see. 5 hour not looking so great. Definitely better than the 12, but we still have almost nothing to go on. Let's look at the 2. Do we get anything? The 2 hour giving us a pretty classic rollover signal. It's a pretty classic rollover signal. But again, this 2 hour not going to be as important as the daily or 12 hour or whatnot. So this could roll over and not really produce. This could roll over and make a very weak upside move. But momentum is looking phenomenal. Okay, so as we zoom in, things are actually looking more bullish, which is not expected. That was not expected on my part. I was kind of thinking the longer time frames would look better and the shorter time frames would look like crap. That's not what we're getting. On the 2, there's still no divergence there. We do have the same bullish divergence on this low as we had on the 5. But what I really do like here is that momentum has no signs of chill. No signs of chill. This is a very high swing in momentum. If we look back, we really only see these 2 examples, August 20th and July 26th. Those are the last times that momentum on the 2-hour was as strong as it is right now. Let's see. That's decent. That's decent. Just got an alert from... I should go around my own. What are you talking about? We're not going till... We're supposed to go to the gym later, but not right now. Why would you leave now? Anyway. Let me keep going. 2-hour showing some signs of life. That's excellent. We do have very local bullish divergence on the 2 as well. You can see our low came up here. And that was the lowest point in price, so that has to be some kind of bullish divergence. That's not bad. That's not the end of the world. What time is it now? It's 30 minutes. Okay, we're good. Okay, so yeah, daily, a little undecided. 12-hour looks like crap. 5, crap. And then as we get into the 2, things look a little bit better. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to see that. And so now we're going to zoom into the 15. We're seeing that same local bullish divergence that we didn't have on higher time frames. Our lows and RSI have come up, and our price lows have come down. So that is some confidence here. Lows come down, lows come up. Excellent. Same thing on same thing on MACD. We finally have a little agreement. These 2 have been at odds on every time frame we've looked at. Finally, they're agreeing. Money flow looking solid. Setting a new high locally here on the 15. That could be an uglier pattern, though, couldn't it? This pattern, not so good looking here. Definitely not so good looking there. Looks very head and shoulders-esque, but then now breaking higher on the right shoulder? Huh. Not a lot there. Not a lot to be seen. Let's check the 5 and then we'll look at something that isn't just Bitcoin's chart. Under a microscope. 5-minute, looking good though. We saw negative money flow. Now we're back to positive. VWAP though, a little threatening. But macro, our lows have come up. You see that here, lows come up. This looks like the lowest point. That was the lowest point. And our highs have come up. So that's actually a pretty clear uptrend there. That's a pretty clear uptrend. I want to see these lows come up. If we do, I want to see something like that. On the 5-minute, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Some coiling, a nice bounce off 50. Huh. That 20 and 50 moving hours just overlapping here on the 5. That is pretty spicy. We see they crossed bearishly, then bullishly, and now I think they're overlapping with the 20 slightly above. That's a setup for a breakout. I don't know what direction. We do have support at 43 below us. Then we have that big resistance zone above us. The hourly is rolling over. Okay. All right. It looks like, I think, in the shorter term, we are going to look to go test that bundle of resistance, that area. That's looking likely. In fact, maybe even on the hour, we have some kind of inverse head and shoulders. See our neckline. Yeah, our neckline at 43.4. That's pretty clear. We have the left, the head, and then I don't know if I'll actually count that as the right shoulder. But we do see a pretty clean back test and then a lower low. So maybe we do have an inverse head and shoulders painting here. That'd be nice. Let's see where that measured move would take us. What do we got? Right to our weakness. That could be spicy. It's probably going to paint another one, though. Like that. Our 2 measure moves sitting at that 48, right where that weakness in the cloud is. But our 1618 at 46. Hourly. This is a hard chart, guys. This is a hard chart today. This is spices. What do you guys think? You know, sometimes there just aren't. There's just not answers, unfortunately. With 390 votes, almost 400 votes, we have way more votes than likes, man. We're never gonna get to 420 likes if nobody's hitting the like button. We only have 200. We're not even halfway to 420. What's the point of streaming if you don't get 420 likes? If a man can't say nice at the end of a stream because it has 420 likes, I don't know what the point is. But it looks like you guys thinking healthy correction. That's where I'm leaning as well. That's where I'm leaning as well. I'm very uncomfortable under 42.2. Very uncomfortable. But we're already back above 42.2. So hopefully that's going to continue through this week. Looks like we're going to get the bullish engulfing close on the daily. If you look back to the last time we sold off here, the 7th, we didn't get that. We didn't get a bullish engulfing daily until right here. That did bring us to a higher high, and it got sold off. So that is a good sign, but it's not a guaranteed sign. Right here, didn't go anywhere. Right here, didn't go anywhere. Right here, didn't go anywhere. So it's not guaranteed, but that's better. Better than seeing something like this afterwards. This shows that buyers were sitting there. Buyers were waiting. That's right. Cloud weakness is on the 12th. Thanks, Tom G. Thank you, my brother. Down, says Market Matt. Market Matt. I like that name. Vladimir Vakolev. What's up, man? At least you got 69 likes. Yeah, I know, but that's a much lesser nice. Crypto Sharknado. I don't know why it announces those. Those are old. 18 months in a row. What a pro. What a champ. Gohana. What's up, brother? ZCX. Yeah, I'm going to guess we got stopped out. I have not looked at it since. Did we get stopped? Yeah, we got stopped. Well, that's why we use stop losses. That trade looked so good for so long. That's why we got the stops here. Looks like we were looking for 550. Dang. Oh, yeah, down to 420. We've looked at this since. Still in the trade, are we?
Hey Tom, I'm still HODL but ZCX Unison trade. I entered at 2.70, rode it up, took some profits at 6.40 and still holding on. What's it looking like to you? Their staking goes live any day. Spicy.
Doesn't look that bad, to be honest. So it blew through our stop loss. That's okay. We're seeing a weak bullish divergence here with a double bottom on RSI on the daily at just about 50. That is a powerful zone. It's definitely bullish divergence as the low is much higher here. Money flow is still good. We want to see this daily twist, though. We want to see daily lose or shed some of its selling momentum. We haven't seen that yet. But if we do, you could get a monstrous divergence off of that. Really, this is sitting much prettier than most things. You're really just below the 20 daily now. That's not really that huge. Your 50 daily is untested ever. It's never been tested. Sitting at 350. And you're looking back here, huh? The odds of this returning to at least 575 are very good. Very, very good. Oops. Hourly starting to leave that cloud. All right. I can dig it. Let's see. Now we have a new retracement to do. This is not our low, so we can get rid of that. Oop. Funny, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? I don't know if you guys at home saw that, but literally, our golden pocket. Look at this. Select this. There we go. Our golden pocket right there. We don't even have to move it. Move it like 1 inch. Sitting at 575 to $6. Likelihood of going back to there is very good. Very, very good. You're feeling very sketched 550 even at the 0.5. Hourly is rolling over. This is looking good. This is looking good for a retrace, at least. I mean, like 554. I think you can get to 6. This is not the worst. You can see even that 420 support consolidated there. You came back and tested it. Now you're looking, I think, for a golden pocket. What you don't want to see is selling at that golden pocket. And you can get that nasty trend line. And then maybe you're set up for something ugly. But we don't have that yet. I think you're all right. I think the odds of this returning to the 0.5 or golden pocket before going below 420 is good. I think those are good probabilities. Let's look at this a little zoomed out. Whew. Could be a prettier weekly, though. If it's not within this week, next week, good probability in my opinion. Of course, that doesn't mean it's, if it goes there, it's going to stop. It's all going to come down to the corn. I mean, you have a chart like this, it's, you're always at risk of buying somewhere you don't want to buy. That's the problem with only green charts. But I think that looks pretty good. You're going to close just like Bitcoin. You're going to close bullish engulf today. You're looking for a retracement. For more conservative. Still 550. But you entered at 270. You're pretty good, man. You're good. 270. I would say if you see a drop below 420, I might consider taking some off the table there. And that doesn't mean you have to drop your whole position. If you entered at 270, let's see, at 4, no, that'd be at 540. 540, so a value that I think is very probable. This might be the smart play. This is my opinion, of course. This is how I would trade it. Because I think 540 is a very likely target to be hit, even if it wants to go down farther. If you entered at 270, if I were you, if I was in this position, I'd probably look to take half of my position off the table at 540. Cover my principal, and now my remaining coins are cost-free. Then you can ride them all the way up or all the way down, doesn't really matter. That's just how I would play it in my trading style. Doesn't mean you have to. But if you see below 420, I'm going to be more sketched out by this chart. The reason being, we don't have a lot of support below. That 270, where you entered, is pretty much the next support. So if trading does go below 420, you may look to wait for it to return to that 270. This is going to follow Bitcoin, like everything. If Bitcoin continues to dump, this is probably going to continue down to support as well. So far, so good. I think it's pretty cleared for that 550 to 575, $6 level. This was a great trade. We had a great trade on this. Bitcoin really just threw a wrench in everything with this drop. Oops. I'm going to lock this because I don't want this to move. Locked. There we go. That was a great trade. We did it as a FOMO trade. Like, we just took it from market during the stream. And look at that. Look at this downside we experienced. Virtually none. We moved up. We didn't get to our target. But then as soon as the market turned, as soon as it hit our stop, that's pretty much when the bottom fell out there. So while this trade didn't win, it's still a good trade. I would take this trade over and over and over again. You're looking for the upside, or you could do it for the downside either way. But you're stopping. You're getting out of it when things get ugly. And that saved, let's see. That stop loss triggered. Price fell 25-ish% more. That's a good trade. You got out. You're in a different position. You got in much lower, so you're not really in the same threat zone. But that's just good trading. Well done. Well done. What's up, Daryl Schmidt Lombardia Wassam? Thanks for subscribing, guys and gals. Great to have you. Whoa. Opening crap accidentally. Today's not my day. Let me pull open this chat here. What are you guys doing? 262 likes. We're not even going to get to 420, are we? That's all right. We have 300 viewing, though. That's freaking awesome. Thanks, guys, for being here. You guys are the best. All We'll look at lengthening cycles, maybe. I don't know. What are you guys feeling? What's up, my man? How you doing, Houston? You noticed a comparison from May dump chart on the daily compared to this dump on the 12-hour pattern. Looks like they could be worth a look. Are you talking about this? I'm just gonna get rid of it. Think about this. If you're thinking about it like that, yeah, I think they look really similar. Even the lead up to them look really similar. So even like this looks very similar. I wouldn't doubt it. If you guys watched the video I published yesterday, we were talking about this infinite pattern, the infinite fractal. What if it just kept doing this forever? It fits really well. Doesn't mean it's going to play out. Good news is you get slightly higher lows each time. I don't really think this is what's going to happen, but it looks pretty, and it's worth watching. You can see we've already kind of even broken it. It's going too high. You'd have to sell off here to really fit this super well, I think. But I think that's a good eye. Like, these things do look similar, and I was speculating long ago that it's intentional. Market makers do it intentionally. People have very short memories. Typically, they only remember really like the last thing that happened. And so to paint this and then drop, it would make sense to paint this if you're not going to drop. I know that sounds weird, but if it's too patterny, typically I see it go the other way because it's too obvious. Like, this is so freaking similar. It's so similar. Get this little bump and fall, bump and fall. And so what that implies, if you follow that pattern, it's still not even really a bearish pattern. I don't think. It would be like this. You're looking at that yesterday. Slightly lower lows. This actually would be pretty cool because that is very reminiscent of stuff we've seen back here. Back in the previous bull run. These drops and then kind of sideways like this. Typically those did result in a downward spike before rallying, but it's very reminiscent to me. I get a lot of like PTSD from the shelving going on. Maybe that's what we're seeing again. If it were to be like the last cycle, we would see maybe something like this, and then it would come up. But playing field's different. We might not see the exact same patterns. We could see this bait out and then boom. That wouldn't look crazy. But I like it. I'm a big pattern guy. I really hope this doesn't happen because this would be like the ultimate boring. This would be the most boring thing ever. It'd just be like range bound price forever. Oh yes. Here's a little treat for everyone who made it this far into the video. Lots of people, I'm sure, have already tuned out. Sucks for them. Here's a little treat for you. This was given to the patrons. Now it's time to share it. So our initial drop here, this is CME's chart. This is not Coinbase or Binance. This is not spot. This is futures contracts. And what catches my eye is how different this is. So really what this is price is tracking with spot really closely. However, there's no weekend trading. So what's valuable about this CME chart is it's just Bitcoin's chart without the weekend. And what I find is that the chart is much smoother. Despite the gaps from the closing and trading, the chart's a lot smoother. The weekend trading seems to be, I don't want to say not as relevant or something, but there's something here. Maybe you guys will be able to help me identify it over time. There's something here of value. And what I like about this, I didn't even look at each heap. What I really like about this is we just got our golden cross on CME. We just got it. What? The day we sold off, the 20th. Look, it's in between these two, so I'll count it here or here, doesn't matter. That fall perfectly tested this cross. This cross actually much more bullish than Bitcoin on spot's cross. Why? Because look at these moving averages. They're both rocketing. Bitcoin's wasn't as pronounced as this. When I say Bitcoin, I mean spot. Spot's was not as pronounced. You can see this 200, a little lazy. It actually had bumped down a little bit, was going sideways, arguably up or down, pretty much sideways. We wouldn't consider that as strong of a cross. And this is what I think is important, simply because we're seeing a different picture using what is virtually the same data. We came down and tested it, we bounced up, whatever. But if we look at CMEs, this cross is what we would have liked to see. This is a powerful cross. Both of these moving averages are trending up fast. Here's the cool part. CME now back on top. Bitcoin, we were looking at this earlier in the episode and we were saying, dang, we got all these moving averages up there. Yeah, we found support on the 100. That's great. But now we have the 50, the 20, and the 200 above us, and they're going to act as resistance. CME doesn't have that. Though CME also bouncing off the same moving average. Very weird. Isn't this weird? I think there's something of value here. I'm not necessarily saying that like CME controls spot price. I don't believe that. But even maybe just removing the weekends is giving us a different picture of the chart. You know, they both found support here. And what I like is CME looking to close. They close back above that golden cross. That's much more bullish. Our 20 is actually sitting relatively high as well in comparison to spot. You can see this spot set up much tighter. That's why we were looking for, man, there could be a lot of resistance here. CME says actually the opposite. CME here on this chart saying there's a lot of support here. Very strange. There's your little secret. Now everyone else who tuned out won't know, suckers. CME looking much more bullish. I wonder if the indicators do. Oddly not, though. We don't have that higher high in money flow. We have a lower high. We still haven't broken this low, but this low actually broke the previous low. So our indicators actually look uglier. You can see that's really spicy. On spot, we had 2 or 3 trips here. On MACD, 3? 1, 2, 3. Little trips of momentum flipping positive, right? On CME, we don't have any. This has only been selling momentum. It's telling us a different picture. I think both are valid. If anything, honestly, CME looks more accurate. You know, this flipped over to selling momentum August 26th. That was right here. So we had one little high left that got sold off. And since then, been trending down on momentum. Interesting, we don't really have any difference on our side. It's being the most useless indicator ever right now. But CME telling a different picture. Telling a different story. I dig it. I think that this is something worth watching. Now, today is Wednesday, so this has 2 more or 1 more, whatever, day of trading left. Awesome. What I want to see is price stay above here. If CME stays above here, I think that's going to bode well for everything else in the market. That is a very strong cross. We don't have it. You can even see that this was kind of threatened that it wouldn't happen. Get rid of everything else here. You can see we had this bearish cross, the death cross. Look at the reaction from the 50. It just mirrored the 200. Stayed really close to it. You may call this, provided we see some upside. So it's not valid unless we see some upside. We may call this a bullish kissing. They crossed, but the cross didn't really, it didn't have the fuel behind it. It didn't have the energy. The 50 said, no, I'm going to stay really close. And now they've crossed back. If we see a move to the upside, I think that's a confirmed, I will admit, not a typical kissing. Not one we see very often. Definitely not one we see very often, but could be a very powerful one. Something to keep an eye on. That's what we do here on this channel, boys and girls. We look at whatever everyone else isn't looking at. Why? Because it's the reason we do well. It's the reason we have an edge. If everyone else is looking at it, it's not worth anything. Never goes away that people are looking. Here's the SPY quick. This looks like crap. It is back above the yearly VWAP, so that's cool, I guess. We were looking for our little Jupiter, Saturn, maybe all the way down to our moon down here. This does not look strong to me, though. If we ignore this planet, this just looks like a momentum leg. It didn't even fill the gap. Maybe it'll fill the gap in the next trading day. Those stonks only go up, so God knows you could just do this again. Stocks are weird. Last time we were below the yearly VWAP back in July. This thing does not look strong. Oh, it's on the 5-minute. That's definitely part of it. Still below. No bullish divergence on our side. No bullish divergence on MACD. Kind of in the same boat, seemingly. Ooh, real quick. Someone tipped in the last stream, maybe a stream or two ago. And they said, hey, Tom, I want to buy Ethereum. Should I put an order at 3K? And I said, honestly, my dude, no. I said no. Don't buy. I would not. This wasn't financial advice. It was my opinion. I said, in my opinion, if you're going to try to buy it at 3, where anybody remember? 2,725. There you go. It hit 3K, went right to 2,725. Of course, it went a little lower. Hopefully, whoever that was, I saved them 10% plus. Where are we now? The next downside target if Ethereum falls is not pretty. 2,300. No thanks. But there you go. Another wonderful example. Ah, here it is. That's why. Sniped the weekly support. They wanted to buy at 3. The problem is, 3 is a great number. 3,000 is pretty. The problem is if you actually went back to 3, which we did, you've built the ugliest pattern ever. If 3 were to fill, it's going to go lower. So I don't know if you're out there, friend. I don't remember who it was, but hopefully you had the patience. Hopefully. Hopefully. This still does not look good, though. But hey, at least you're not... At least it's, you didn't have this looking bad at 3K. You got a discount. Against Bitcoin, though, this is not the end of the world. This weekly candle, though it has definitely found some resistance here. Well, not even resistance. It's filling in this void, which we called long ago. Where did my void thing go? It used to say void right there. There we go. Void. Filling in this void. That was expected. We wrote this way back here. When it gets here, it's likely going to fill in this void. Doing so with higher lows. Not the end of the world. Still can come back to that 0.55, but it's looking less likely. This is starting to get pretty cuppish. Starting to get cuppy. This chart's so busy, I don't even know if you guys can see anything at home. If you get an opportunity at 0.55, in my opinion, before 0.1 or 0.11, might be a good opportunity. We have dominated Ethereum in the patron. If you were a patron since like last year, and you didn't make a ton of money on Ethereum, I don't know what you were doing. I don't know. Oh crap. Annoyed the void. Annoyed the void. Crap. Crappity crap. This is not good. Follow me on Twitter. On Discord. Check out the Patreon. Subscribe. Like. Consume content. Sorry, boys and girls. I actually have to run to the gym. I made a promise. Thought we were going to have more time. But this was still good. I just wanted to get on here, touch base with everybody, see how y'all were doing. Make sure you're subscribed in the Discord. Make sure you're liked on the streams. We'll be back tomorrow. Crown out.